1,500 miles. That's about the distance from Tallahassee, Florida to Denver, Colorado. That's also the distance that your produce that is commercialized travels from farm to your plate. 1,500 miles of pollution, 1,500 miles of economic burden, 1,500 miles that your food loses its nutritious value, and 1,500 miles that your food loses its taste. Hi, my name is Stetson Kutchins, and I want to talk to you today about a big movement in America going on right now called eating local, or farm-to-table cuisine. Now, the reason why this is such an important matter to me is because of the high population in America and the amount of food that we must produce. There is a lot of things going on that could be helped with eating local cuisine. One of them is pollution. Pollution is a big problem in today's world, and it's not helped at all by commercializing and mass producing produce and then shipping it all over the country, these 1,500 miles. Now, we can compare this to 45 miles. According to the World Watch Institute, around 44.6 miles is what local produce travels before it gets to a plate in a local town. Now, if we want to think about that on scale, I have a scale drawing here. This bottom line right here, that's a scale drawing of around 45 miles. This one up here is 1,500 miles. You see the difference. This one, local food that travels. This one, this is your commercialized food that travels. This 1,500 miles, that can be greatly reduced by just trying to eat local. Another thing that helps with eating local is the economy. We all know that the economy is not in a good state as it is, and so eating local helps a lot because, for one, it puts money back into the local community. According to Eat Local First DC, for every dollar that is spent on local cuisine, about 45 cents of that dollar goes right back into the community, strengthening small town economics, which in turn strengthens your state economics and in turn strengthens national economics. Now, if you think about that compared to the 45 cents, 15 cents of a dollar is put back into local community when it's spent on commercialized produce like you get out of Walmart or Winn-Dixie and places like that. This money that's going back into our community is good because it builds jobs, builds businesses, and it makes our food selection more available to everybody. Another reason why we should start eating more local food is because, well, it's more nutritious for you. If you think about it, localized food is picked and then it's brought to your table, basically. It's picked, you go to the farmer's market, you pick it up, and it's right there at your table. But with commercialized food, they pick it before it's ripe, which means it hasn't reached its full nutrient abilities yet, and then they ship it across country, usually wrapped up tight and suffocated with a lot of other fruit, so it can't ripen even more. And then they ship it to your grocery stores, where they keep it cold, so it's not going to keep ripening. And then you buy it, and you bring it to your house, and you eat it unripe, not at its full nutrient standard. Now, by eating local, the nutrients that you're absorbing from these fruits and vegetables that have only traveled a short distance, around 45 miles, is a lot more than what you're going to eat through these commercialized foods because of them not being ripe. Now, according to the New York Times also, by eating local, you're not going to absorb as much preservatives and pesticides because of the fact that they don't have to travel with the food 1,500 miles across country. And of course, everybody knows that pesticides and preservatives are not good for your body. And another point that eating local likes to make is that when you eat local, usually your food's going to taste better. Again, as I before mentioned, commercialized food is not picked ripe, and everybody knows that ripe food is at its freshest. So it's shipped unripe, and it goes to our restaurants and our local tables, and people eat it at its not freshest stage, at its not most tasteful stage. Take me. I worked in a restaurant, and in this restaurant we use a lot of avocados. Now the avocados we got were usually from Peru, and they would pick them while they were still hard and unripe and ship them to our restaurant. And by the time they got to our restaurant, they weren't even ripe at all. They would usually be as rock hard as they picked it off the tree. Now, an avocado is very nutritious for you. It contains many omega-3 fatty acids, which is very good for your body. And because of the fact that it's picked before it's ripe and shipped, then it's never going to get ripe, and it's never going to have the taste that you're going to want out of it. According to Pure Food to You Organic, local food is usually picked within 2 days of its sell point, which means that it's going to be ripe, and it's going to be fresh, and it's going to be tasty. Also, because it's going to be fresh, it's not going to need as many preservatives, because it's going to be shipped right to the table, basically. And preservatives mask the flavor of food because they are chemicals, and they don't allow the food to stand out on its own. Now, let's recap all these facts. So, eating local. Why is it good? Why should you do it? Well, for one thing, the pollution. I mean, think about it. Local food travels 45 miles. That's not that many gallons of gas. But cross-country food, the commercialized food, travels 1,500 miles in a semi-truck, which causes a lot of pollution. And that's done every day, all day long, with hundreds of trucks across country. It doesn't help with the pollution at all. And then eating local helps with the economy. With eating local, you're putting money straight from the community right back into the community. But when you eat commercialized food that you buy in the grocery store, only a small portion of every dollar you spend goes right back into the community, which does not help strengthen jobs, which in turn does not help strengthen the economy. Also, your local food is going to be more nutritious because it doesn't have to travel as far, and it's riper, and it doesn't have as many preservatives in it. And the same goes for your food when it's the taste of your food when it's shipped less distance. Local food is not preserved like commercialized food, and it's picked at its ripe state, so it's going to taste better in the long run. That way we can enjoy nice, tasty meals in our restaurants and our homes. Thank you very much for listening today.